Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flicks Tidbit Show. My name is Chris Wong. Since Warner Brothers and DC decided not to show up at San Diego Comic-Con this year to announce their slate, I decided to take it upon myself to give you that information. Now, most of these have official dates, but a lot of this is pure speculation and probably don't even have dates at all. Is it even coming out? Let's go over it all. The first movie coming right out is Joker. The premise is in 1981, a failed stand-up comedian turns to a life of crime and chaos in Gotham City, slowly rising to become a frightening legend. This is directed and written and produced by Todd Phillips. It's based on Joker by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, starring Joaquin Phoenix as the titular title character, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, and it's also coming out on October 4th of 2019. Now, this movie is not connected to the DCEU. Todd Phillips did explain this is a one-off. This is part of what they're calling a DC Black Label. This is just a character study that he wanted to make a movie about and have it not having to be connected to anything else in the DC films currently in the DCEU. So you're probably not going to see any connection to the current Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, so on and so forth. But I thought I'd give you this anyway because it is the next DC film coming out this year. Next movie is part of the DCEU, and that is Birds of Prey. The Birds of Prey premise is as follows. Since the events of Suicide Squad, Batman has disappeared, leaving Gotham City unprotected from crime, and Harley Quinn has left the Joker. When Cassandra Cain, a young girl, comes across a diamond belonging to crime lord Black Mask, Harley joins forces with Black Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya to help protect her. This is directed by Kathy Yan, produced by Margot Robbie, written by Christina Hodson, and it stars Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. It stars Journey Smollett-Bell as Black Canary, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress, L.A.J. Basco as Cassandra Cain, Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya, Chris Messina as Victor Zsasz, and finally, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. This film comes out on February 7th of 2020. Next is Wonder Woman 1984, the sequel to 2017's Wonder Woman. The premise is as follows. Diana Prince comes into conflict with the Soviet Union during the Cold War in the 1980s and finds a formidable foe by the name of the Cheetah. This is directed by Patty Jenkins, produced by Charles Robin, Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder, and also Patty Jenkins as well. Screenplay written by Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns. It's based on Wonder Woman, of course, starring Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, Chris Pine returns as Steve Trevor, Kristen Wiig as Barbara and Minerva or Cheetah, Connie Nelson as Hippolyta, Robin Wright returns as Antiope, and also Pedro Pascal in an unknown role for this film. One of the things I want to mention is the music is going to be by Hans Zimmer, because I love Hans Zimmer and everybody should be excited for any movie that he's going to compose music for. This movie comes out on June 5th of 2020. The next DCEU film, at least we think it's a DCEU film, is The Batman. And The Batman is a mysterious noir film. It's supposed to revolve around a younger Batman that is going around solving crimes and mysteries revolving around multiple villains of the Rogues Gallery, including Catwoman, Penguin, the Riddler, and so on and so forth. This is directed and written by Matt Reeves, the producer by Dylan Clark, Matt Reeves, and Ben Affleck apparently, and also starring Robert Pattinson as Batman Bruce Wayne. This movie comes out on June 25th of 2021. Next up is The Suicide Squad, the sequel to David Ayer's Suicide Squad in 2016. This movie is directed, written by James Gunn, and also starring Margot Robbie as returning as Harley Quinn, Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, and also David Dastmalchian and Daniela Melchior cast as Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher respectively. Other members of the titular team will include King Shark and Peacemaker. I also want to add that Idris Elba is in this movie, but we still don't know who he plays. The premise is still also a mystery as well. From what we've learned so far is that it's a revolving of the Suicide Squad doing a mission somewhere in the desert involving some kind of general and some type of alien female monster. So it's still up in the air about what this movie's about, but the thing that we do know is that the scheduled release date is August 6th of 2021. The next film is Aquaman 2. This film is very much a mystery as much of the other films that are being speculated. It has no director. It only has Jason Momoa returning as Arthur Curry as Aquaman and a release date of December 16th of 2022. We're not sure what this movie's about. There was talk that Jason Momoa and Amber Heard wanted to visit more things about the family of Aquaman, maybe even including Aqualad, so that could be an interesting take of the story, but hopefully we'll know more by next year's San Diego Comic-Con. Now, the next film is considered to be the sequel to Shazam, not Shazam 2, but actually Black Adam. Dwayne Johnson, who was casted back in 2014, finally gets to play Black Adam with principal photography scheduled to begin in early to mid 2020. Not much to know about the story, only that this is going to be an origin for Black Adam, something that Dwayne Johnson and the Garcias wanted to do in conjunction with the Shazam origin film, but thought that this story is too big to be in one movie. They decided to split Shazam's origin and Black Adam's origin, and hopefully they'll meet up to battle in a future movie. The next movie is The Flash. This is also to be announced a date as well. This has gone through a lot of changes since Rick Famuyiwa first attached to the film, and also even way before that as well. But finally, I think they finally got something that is working on, and that involves Andy Muschietti, the director of it. He is now going to be in talks to direct The Flash. Christina Hodson is hired to write for The Flash, and it's also said that Ezra Miller will return as Barry Allen, The Flash. The Flash was expected to release sometime in 2021. Andy Muschietti said that after it, he's going to take a few months later this fall, and then he can talk about The Flash. And hopefully that means he's going to start shooting The Flash. All these next films has no dates. They were in development, or they were talked about in some form, and I'm just going to list it to you here without going too much into detail. The first one is Lobo. The Lobo they had discussions with Michael Bay to direct. That was back in 2018. Justice League Dark was also canceled as well. This was in Guillermo del Toro confirmed he was working on it, and then something happened and he's no longer a part of that. The project is no longer being done. Cyborg is also up in the air, although Ray Fisher is still very optimistic about the Cyborg movie coming out. It was scheduled to release on April 3rd of 2020, but has been delayed so far. Justice League sequel, that apparently is still on the board for some other reason, but who knows, that still could be something that's coming up later in the future, but right now it doesn't look like there's anything going on with that movie. Green Lantern Corps, there was a lot of changes within that between David Goyer and now Jeff Johns. Christopher McQuarrie at one point wanted to do this movie. Right now, there is nothing scheduled other than it's supposed to release in July 24th of 2020, but it is believed to be delayed. It's still in the script story development by Jeff Johns, and that's all we know so far of that. The Man of Steel sequel is also kind of not going anywhere. No directors, no story. We still believe Henry Cavill is still Superman with just no project in the future, which is very sad, but hopefully we'll learn more by the time next year's San Diego Comic-Con. There's also rumors of Booster Gold, and all stemming from Greg Berlanti wanting to make this film. So it's still not being announced by Warner Brothers themselves. We'll have to see what happens with that. Gotham City Sirens is also a project that was working on, but now it's more seemingly like they took beats and story from Gotham City Sirens and put it into the Birds of Prey movie instead. Deadshot was also a movie they were talking about at one point in time, but that doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon, as the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, is the next Suicide Squad based film coming out, with Will Smith not reprising his role as Deadshot. In fact, they are taking Deadshot out of the James Gunn's The Suicide Squad movie, possibly for a later movie later on where Will Smith will have time to come back. Other movies are like Nightwing, which is also had Chris McKay involved, but that has been delayed, or nothing's happening with that since February of 2018. Batgirl was also in consideration. Right now, supposedly still being written by Christina Hodson. Harley Quinn and Joker film was supposed to be another Harley Quinn movie, possibly coming out after Birds of Prey, or being worked on after Birds of Prey, but that's also we have heard nothing of it since the announcement of Birds of Prey. We also have Deathstroke. There was supposed to be a Deathstroke movie with Joe Manganiello as a Deathstroke, but that also has not had any traction whatsoever. Nothing to be heard of that one. Supergirl was also one of those movies that was talked about, but nothing has ever come up from it. In August 2018, the film was supposed to have centered on Supergirl, announced to be development with Oren Uziel penning the script. They were seeking a female director with Reed Morano, who has expressed interest in the project, but that's pretty much it. Well, Plastic Man as well. As of December 2018, it was supposedly in development, but we hear nothing else about that. There's supposed to be a sequel to Wonder Woman 1984. Of course, we're probably going to have to wait until Wonder Woman 1984 to see how that fares before Patty Jenkins gets to the next movie. Also, The Trench, Shazam sequel, and of course Black Hawk, that also are up in the air as well. The other movie that's supposedly in development is New Gods, directed by Ava DuVernay, and she's being helped by Tom King. Not sure when that movie's coming out, when it's shooting, or is it just in the script writing phase, as Tom King has recently said during Comic-Con actually that he can't wait to meet up with Ava DuVernay to work on some stuff. But so, not sure when that's happening as well. There's a lot of films on here that are in development or just mentioned. Maybe somebody during the meeting just said something about it and they took that as news. Who knows? But so far, right now, official dates for movies are Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, The Batman, The Suicide Squad, and finally Aquaman 2. Those are the official DCEU films, with Joker, the DC Black Label, coming out later this year. And that is all Warner Brothers and DC have for the DCU and DC films. And that is all for the DC slate so far. Which movies are you excited for? Which movies did you wish would be announced, and what movies do you think they're going to announce and talk about at next year's San Diego Comic-Con. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.